You're an advocate for all of humanity, for everyone. And so when you step into your practice setting, it's not, clicking this and clicking that and task. And yeah, you're going to learn all of those things. It takes time. It's muscle memory. I'm sure the first time you place the IV or a catheter, it was, your hands were probably a little shaky. But after you've done it for 100 times and 100 plus more, that stuff becomes second nature. We have to constantly keep at the forefront of our brain is that the person you're taking care of is a person.
Yes.
And you have to advocate for that person no matter where you come from or they come from.
This is Dr. Rodney Ducker with the Lively Art of Conversation, where we live, we learn, we earn, we pass it along. Join us every Sunday at 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. as we bring to you our story on the Lively Art of Conversation. It's more than just a radio show and the podcast. It is our story that creates your story based off your tests, based off your message, and also based off your tribes. Everything about our story creates your story, and it's our tribe that creates your vibe on the Lively Art of Conversation. So thank you for joining us on the Lively Art of Conversation, where we live, we learn, we earn, we pass it along. Tune in. Hey, I am back again. That's right. Dr. Rodney Duckett with the Lively Art of Conversation, where we live, we learn, we earn. My goodness, we pass it along. I got another exciting, phenomenal show with you today. I always bring the very best here in Central Texas, and this show is like no other. It's 2026, and there's a lot of different things that's going on in 2026. But this show right here is near and dear to me because it's the heart of my bread and butter. I have my work is what I was born to do, but I have a job, and job is what they pay me to do. And this person works along the field of my job here. So you're going to be in for a great treat. But before I do, like I always do, let's turn it over to some underwriters that make this show possible.
Words have power. They connect, heal, and inspire. That's the mission at Better Watch Your Tone, LLC, founded by Toni B. Shelton. She's empowering through powerful poetry and prose, with hundreds impacted through speaking events, workshops, and 8 self-published books. Ready to honor the story within? Discover books and coaching at betterwatchyourtone.com. For event poetry or book writing support, email TonyShelton@gmail.com. Let's use our words to uplift. Better watch your tone. You've built a life worth celebrating. Now it's time to be seen. At Las Foto de Lance Photography, they don't just take portraits, they capture the fire in your spirit and the power in your presence. Whether you're reclaiming your confidence, owning your story, or stepping into a new chapter, Las Foto de Lance Photography creates luxury images that reflect the real you. Visit lasfotodelance.net or drop by their Harker Heights studio. Las Foto de Lance Photography, unapologetically you, immortalized. Looking to elevate your brand or capture unforgettable moments? New Image Media offers top-tier videography, photography, personal branding, and more. They combine creativity and quality with fair pricing and friendly service so you get the results you want. Whether it's a business promo or special occasion, they bring your vision to life with quality you can trust. Choose New Image Media, where your image is everything. For more info, email media@newimagemiallc.com.
This is Dr. Rodney Duckett with the Heritage Legacy Curators. You're looking for something for your kids to do this summer? Well, reach out to me at Impact Outreach, IMPAC outreach@gmail.com, because Heritage Legacy Curators is all about collecting oral history. So if you have stories that you would love to pass down to your kids, or if you have a project that maybe your kids need to do as it relates to oral history, bring those family albums out and we'll sit there and we'll sort through those family albums, so that way we can collect those stories and keep those stories within the family, so that way they can be the next speakers to curate your family reunion. Hey, we're back with the Lively Art of Conversation, where we live, learn, earn, and pass it along. Thank you to my underwriters for always granting me access with the monetary currency I need to keep this show up and running every single week just for you guys. And like we always do here, we got to start off with that actual word of the week. that word of the week this week is called overflow. Yes, it is called overflow. I'm going to steal the words of the great Tiffany Gibson. I met Tiffany Gibson about a year ago at the DMPs of Color conference, and she was giving a talk on pretty much understanding us and our energy as human beings and as professionals. And one of the things that she used was this quote, and I thought this quote was like so cool. We have to stop pouring from our empty cup and keep our cup filled so the world can have our overflow. See, if the world is surviving off your surplus, there's no need for you to worry about pouring into other people. So let's make sure we're packing ourselves with our surplus and our overflow so that way we can give it to the next world. So overflow, that is actually a verb or noun, and that word overflow means that pretty much your vessel, you, is being completely filled with something. I'm hoping that it's going to be filled with great residual of the things that you are put inside of you. So what does that mean, and how does that look for us? What you do, and I'm back on my currency type thing, what you do in the first 5 minutes of your day would dictate the next 16 hours of your day. So that means when you wake up in the morning, you should just sit in your bed for 5 minutes. You got 5 minutes. Some people say, I don't have 5 minutes. Yes, you do. You have 5 minutes. I ain't asking for 5 hours. I'm saying 5 minutes to sit in your bed and then sit in silence, pray, or you can meditate, or you can just talk to yourself if that's what you want to do. But the biggest thing is we got to be the better version of ourselves, which we was the day prior to that. So overflow is what is the word of the week. So our thought provoking question that we have for us is, what is the single most important action we need to stop doing this week? That's right, this week, so we can protect our container, making sure our container is connected, and then also ensuring that everything that you give to others is your surplus, is your overflow. How can we ensure that we're not pouring from our container anymore into other people that will ultimately make our container empty and bare? I want to keep us full in 2026. You hear me? So with that being said, I'm telling you, everybody knows that I've been in the profession of healthcare probably for the last 30 years. I started off as an EMT, driver of an ambulance, to a paramedic, critical care paramedic. I done a little flight paramedicine type stuff, and then became an LVN, got my RN, and then of course just recently I decided to step my game on up and get my DNP and my FNP, and that is my job. That's what they pay me to do, and it's a part of who I am. It's my identity. It's how I identify with myself, because I am that of a servant for the people. I'm a healer. But the person that I have here today is the president. That's right. I got the president here today, and she's a president that I can't even pronounce her last name. So she's never going to hire me as an MC because I cannot say her last name.
It's a wrap.
It's done. I'm finished. I'm going to be setting up tables and chairs from this point on. So
support staff. Support only.
So ladies and gentlemen, I have here today Miss Ebony Gebrehawariat.
I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it go because you're trying hard. I see you struggle. Y'all didn't see him struggle, but I saw him struggle. So we're gonna say it together.
Okay, let's do it. Yes.
Gebrehawariat. Okay, there we go.
See, that's all I needed.
Yeah.
I needed leadership.
My master's is in education, so I always believe it's a knowledge gap, and so that's I'm gonna work through all of those. Everybody, it's just a knowledge gap. We're gonna close that together.
Boy, if that was a part of my oral boards, I would have not made it.
The pressure.
The pressure. Sister, I appreciate you being here because you are a very, very, very busy woman, and I know you are. And I do not want to waste your most valuable currency, which is your time. But I want to tap into your knowledge, okay? I really want to tap into your knowledge, but most importantly, your overflow, because that's the one thing that you've been doing out here in this District 7 is just been overflowing yourself, making sure the nurses are out here taken care of and information and knowledge is flowing to us readily. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you. I feel like, I've had so much inspiration, and you're part of that, and motivation to really kind of take this on, and then that need, because when you're a servant, you really want to go where you're needed and serve how you're needed to serve. So that's been my whole kind of driving force. So thank you so much for just recognizing that. It always feels good to be recognized, but it really is altruistic, and it comes from, I feel like my overflow comes from the Lord, that honestly. And so it's just been an honor and a privilege to continue to be able to do this work in the community and to serve our nurses, and really just, again, serve the broader community, because where nurses are, that's where healing can take place. So thank you.
No, thank you. We just recently connected, reconnected. We've been in several different places before, and we've talked before, and then we connected, just out of the blue connected, because you kind of stayed on me about being involved more.
On you like white on rice? Like white on rice.
I'm like, girl, do you know how much stuff I do?
I do.
Like, I don't care. I need you to be involved in this. I'm like, huh? So,
I'll be a pest for you.
Yeah.
I'll be a pest.
Hey, I do appreciate that, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I was heavily involved in TNA at one time, and it just, by way of just dealing with certain politics within it, I just kind of like, I'm just going to go to work and make money. So, but for you, I'm going to come on out, and whatever little bit I have left in me, I'm going to give it all to you.
I appreciate that a little bit. I'm going to have to crank that up just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. I'm trying to give me the little odds and ends. I trust you.
Oh, my goodness. Let's unpack Ebony. Tell me a little bit about Ebony, and how'd you get here, Ebony? How'd you get here?
To be honest, like, I feel like our journey's almost, certainly almost aligned, because I didn't go military, but, I went LVN route to RN, and now kind of going my DNP. And what I find is that there's so many intersecting kind of parallel journeys that many of us have had. And so I started at that 4-year university level, and because of life circumstances and all the things, kind of had to take a step back from school. And at the time, I'm kind of driving. I worked the most minimum wage job at the Hess Express. The best time of year was this time, because they were selling them Hess trucks. So, I said to myself, I got to get a better job. I was driving a 1993 Buick Park Ave that every time I turned it off, something was wrong with it. So that's how I learned cars. And I saw a sign for, the vocational school. Shout out to Lorenzo Walker Technical College. And said, I'm going to go sign up for that CNA course so I could just make a few more dollars. And I went in there, talked to the advising team, and, the advisor said, you seem to be smart, so maybe you should go for, the LPN program. Did that, and really have worked in all different environments, corrections, clinic, inpatient acute, ALFs, or assisted living, skilled nursing facilities, pediatric, geriatrics, and really just got a little bit of everything, which serves me well today. And went back after pandemic times and said, I really need to get this RN done. Got that done, and it really has just been a sprint since then, and really a marathon, because nursing is lifelong learning. Went back and got my ADN, finished my BSN, and I'm working on my master's in education, and hopefully we'll, start my DNP program next summer and become a nurse practitioner if all goes well. But definitely happy to be in the health policy spaces where I am. I find that that really fills my cup, being able to work in the policy space. So that has been everything that I've been putting my energy to as of late.
I want to first of all start off with this right here. I'm real big on giving people their flowers, because a lot of times we don't know the journey. People don't know the journey that people's been on to be at the platforms that they are. So I would like to give you your flowers, because that's an amazing journey. And I feel that because that's the same footsteps that I was taking. We started at the ground.
The trenches is what I call it, the trenches, baby.
I started at the ground. So when people sometimes say, oh, man, look at you this, man, trust me, when I started my nursing journey, I was wiping butts. So, and I can say that on the radio. That's how I started. So I know what it is to do a full skin assessment on somebody.
Amen.
And I learned from some of the nurses that were, if there was ever PhDs and CNAs, I learned from these old ones that showed you how to turn a patient all by yourself and give them a bed bath and wash them down. And it was an art form to that. And now we look at that a little differently, but it was an art form to that. And they taught me so much. They really have.
Yeah, that's care.
Yeah.
That is the very basis of care. And, I used to wonder earlier on in my journey, you have these CNAs that were, 20 years of CNA, but that's their art form. That's care.
Yes.
And, I always challenge, the newer generation of nurses or, just nurses that are coming out to field, realize that is the very art of care, that human touch that they so beautifully, do every single day. And I sometimes will sit back and it's almost like like an orchestra, a conductor
yes.
of it. And it's beautiful that the spirit of caring. So I learned from instructors that were from the trenches, and that is what roots me. That's what grounds me in the work that I do. It's because I was in those trenches. I got taught by nurses and CNAs that were in those trenches, and that's what really grounds me and I think fuels to a lot of my work. So amen to that. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when I was first getting started in the field, because I came in as a paramedic, so I knew everything. You couldn't tell me nothing. So, and I remember when I was doing the clinical rotation at a nursing home that's no longer open at Temple, I had this older black nurse, man. They call her drill sergeant. And she pushed me to the side, literally put her hands and pushed me to the side. She said, if you're going to work with me, you better know one thing. I haven't had skin breakdown on my patients in 20 years. And she was dead serious about that. You better listen. You better get all that cockiness out of you. I don't care if you served in the military, what you serve. I don't even care if you serve for God, but you going to serve me today. And I was like, yes, ma'am. And I learned so much from her. She was brutal, though, but I learned so much from her. I never forget her to this day. She was a drill sergeant. She was the sweetest lady in the world. She loved her patients. Her patients loved her. She wouldn't let her patients lay in bed. Everybody got their baths. Everybody got fed. Everybody got sunlight.
Ain't no skin flakes.
No skin flakes whatsoever. None whatsoever. That bed was clean. I mean, I'm telling you, it was an art form, as you said. It was an art form, and I truly believe, like in my way of thinking, we always give bonuses to doctors and other people for doing specific things. But just imagine someone that has 20 years of service not to have skin breakdown. They should get a major bonus.
Oh, yes.
Skin breakdown leads to so many different things. So we have no idea. But for a person to be able to do that, CNA should get their pay, their due for being who they are.
Oh, yes. And honestly, part of the work that we have been doing in District 7 is really highlighting all scopes, but specifically those what seemingly is undervalued, the LVN scope. Sometimes we in nursing, we know about that hierarchy that exists. Mm-hmm. So part of that is kind of really highlighting the journey and how each part of your journey, no matter where you kind of land, has value, has meaning, it contributes, it's the backbone of healthcare. And so that the LVN or CNA, lots of times they kind of put the CNA at the front of the LVN programs anyway, but seeing just how much value that they bring as part of the work that we aim to do, so we can eliminate this hierarchy that exists between scopes. All the work that we do contributes is important, and it's important for our advocacy. So we can be one unified voice. And the only way we can do that is when all of us come to the table and really talk about what it is that goes on in our profession. And I believe that includes our CNAs, and it definitely includes our LVNs and our LPNs. And so I just love that, this conversation's kind of taken off because that is central to the work that we're doing. Yeah,
definitely. And for you, tell us, how did you get involved in TNA, and how did you become the president? How did that work for you?
I've been very vocal and verbal about this. I was in a work setting that was very toxic. I was in a work setting that was just really dehumanizing and fracturing to my human spirit. And day by day, when you're in the military, part of your identity is being in the military, being a soldier. Well, as a nurse, part of your identity is, being a nurse, and it's really hard to remove parts of you and just get down to I'm a child of God. That has to be central to my identity. But anyhow, this workplace was really just fracturing my human spirit, and I said, well, I have no hope of being a leader here. I have no hope of advancing here. I have no fulfillment here. I sought that out outside of my workplace and joined TNA. And when I joined, to be honest, there wasn't a whole lot of opportunity for me to fill my cup even in our area. And so I kind of joined and sat back, because I'm an observer first, sat back and said, okay, well, how can I get involved? And we weren't creating those opportunities. And so when it came around to finally having an election, because the leadership team that was in place had served the max they could serve, I did immediately throw my hat in the ring, because I had thrown my hat in the ring so often before in other organizational leadership roles. I want to serve, but I don't need to be the leader. But really, it was those around me said, no, you should and you can do this. And immediately when I stepped and said I was going to do this, I had, my former instructor at Temple College, I'll give her a shout out, Erica Parent, say, if you're going to be president, I will be your vice president and I will support you in this. And so I think this really has been a journey of sponsorship and people opening doors for me and allyship and some accompliceship. So this has been such a growing process for me. But I I don't ever call myself the accidental tourist, but I guess I'm a somewhat accidental tourist. Didn't know it was going to lead to so many opportunities, and didn't know it was going to lead to such fulfillment. And it really has been that for me.
Wow. And that's a big accomplishment. And the work that you're doing, because like literally your footprint is all over the place. I was trying to catch up with you a while back over at Texas A&M. You were there. You was just, wasn't you just in Killeen just recently? You were in Killeen. You bounce all over the place with meetings, Salado. So you're really out in the community, and you're really drawing in the nurses to be a part of TNA. And exactly, tell people that may not be in nursing exactly what TNA is and what do they do.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, there's nurses that don't know what TNA does. But, first I always tell them, I said, somebody was representing you and was speaking for you and was, putting laws or policies, helping advocate for you. You would want to know who those people are that were speaking for you. So TNA represents all nurses across the state of Texas, and regardless of scope. So that's our licensed vocational nurses, registered nurses, and advanced practice registered nurses. And we advocate for policies at the legislative, so state legislative policies, regulatory policies, and even local. Anytime there's an issue, current trends, things right now, what's really big is AI. And so being able to, look and study and research AI and its impact on our profession and our workforce, but also nursing education. So all the workforce issues, nursing education issues, practice issues, and just general population and public health issues. So things even regarding immunizations and vaccinations. TNA is able to have a voice, able to influence and help formulate policy surrounding those things. And so nurses, we are D1 complainers. Okay, we are D1 complainers.
That we are.
We know what the problems are. And so TNA allows us to not just know what the problems are, but find solutions to those problems and get things done. And that's what we're really about.
So for TNA and for most people, I guess what would coincide with us will be Texas Medical Association, correct? Similar.
Yes.
Yeah, so because a lot of times people get so confused when they ask me, why should I be a member and why should I give money? Why should they be a member and why should they give money?
Well, I think that the first thing I like to tell folks is that every dollar of your membership goes to advocacy efforts. So people want to get involved sometimes, but they don't they don't want to be all 10 toes down, and that's understandable. You got your kids, they got soccer, football, you got class, and so you're going in 10 different directions. And so that's where people like me who have the energy and the effort that they can pour into it, utilize those advocacy dollars. So that goes to again, those professional development opportunities, advocacy, and being able to really take the messaging to the level that it needs to affect change and practice transformation. Because change is not always good.
Yeah.
But transformation, that's the word I'm really leaning into in this new year. People don't like change, but transformation is something different.
Yes.
If I give you $1, you turn it to 4 quarters, you give me change.
Yeah.
If I give you $1, you turn it to $10. That's transformation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I feel that is the direction that TNA, the Texas Nurses Association, is headed into, is transformation and leaning into things that we haven't leaned into before, to have a more inclusive organization, to have an organization that really represents our communities.
Yes.
The way that they look and they feel like.
Yes.
So that's the direction we headed into with TNA.
This is Dr. Rodney Duncan. You're listening to The Lively Art of Conversation. We'll be right back.
Words have power. They connect, heal, and inspire. That's the mission at Better Watch Your Tone, LLC, founded by Toni B. Shelton. She's empowering through powerful poetry and prose, with hundreds impacted through speaking events, workshops, and 8 self-published books. Ready to honor the story within? Discover books and coaching at betterwatchyourtone.com. For event poetry or book writing support, email ToniShelton@gmail.com. Let's use our words to uplift. Better watch your tone. You've built a life worth celebrating. Now it's time to be seen. At Las Foto de Lance Photography, they don't just take portraits, they capture the fire in your spirit and the power in your presence. Whether you're reclaiming your confidence, owning your story, or stepping into a new chapter, Las Foto de Lance Photography creates luxury images that reflect the real you. Visit lasfotodelance.net or drop by their Harker Heights studio. Las Foto de Lance Photography, unapologetically you, immortalized. Looking to elevate your brand or capture unforgettable moments? New Image Media offers top-tier videography, photography, personal branding, and more. They combine creativity and quality with fair pricing and friendly service, so you get the results you want. Whether it's a business promo or special occasion, they bring your vision to life with quality you can trust. Choose New Image Media, where your image is everything. For more info, email media@newimagemiallc.com.
This is Dr. Rodney Duncan with the Heritage Legacy Curators. You're looking for something for your kids to do this summer? Well, reach out to me at Impact Outreach, IMPAC outreach@gmail.com, because Heritage Legacy Curators is all about collecting oral history. So if you have stories that you would love to pass down to your kids, or if you have a project that maybe your kids need to do as it relates to oral history, bring those family albums out and we'll sit there and we'll sort through those family albums, so that way we can collect those stories and keep those stories within the family, so that way they can be the next speakers to curate your family reunion. Hey, we're back with the Lively Art of Conversation, where we live, we learn, we earn. My goodness, we pass it along. If you would like to be on the show, if you have a interview in mind that you would like to reach out to us about, or if you have commercials, or if there's just something that's going on that you think we should know about and announce on the show, please reach out to me at livelyartofconversation@gmail.com. That's livelyartofconversation@gmail.com. And we are back with the president of TNA here today. So I have been a member of TNA for quite some time. I've had a love-hate relationship with TNA, but I love you guys again now. So y'all back on the love train, the Rodney Duncan love train.
Right,
so choo-choo. But one thing that I've got from TNA is being able to have a platform for nurses to speak their language to politicians. Believe it or not, there are politicians have no idea what nurses do, and they make decisions for nurses all the time. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm so glad that absolutely, and to be able to sit down with either a lawmaker, their staff, and bring not just the data and science, but put it into language they understand, so they understand what our problems are, what our issues are, and how they can help. that is one of the most magical experiences you can have in TNA. Nurse Day at the Capitol was phenomenal. I've been up on the Hill quite a few times now and been able to really just utilize, and we all have gifts. And that's the other problem. We all have gifts, and being a part of your nursing professional organization, specifically TNA, allows you to use your gifts. So, you're having a gift of being able to use your voice. And that gift is something that, again, can lead to so many practice transformations and transformations within our nursing culture. So huge opportunities to be able to do that and have that opportunity to speak to, again, lawmakers and policy influencers. So not always lawmakers. It may be in your local hospital. It may be within your community, and having nurses be present. There's not one place you can go, and every job you're going to take, you're going to go through occupational health.
Yes, that's true.
Which means you more than likely than not is a nurse. So that just speaks to, we are well positioned not only to influence lawmakers, but be lawmakers.
Lawmakers, yes.
And so that is the transformation that I'm seeing in our nursing culture, and I'm here for it. I love it.
Yeah.
When you're running for office, Dr. Duckett.
Ooh, no time
when you're
soon.
Running for office, Doctor, you got my vote.
Ooh, yeah,
you got my vote.
That'll be a tough one right there. You probably be the only one voting for me. So
doubtful.
This is the only man that got one vote.
Oh, so. doubtful.
No, but I learned so much. I was a part of TNA, and they send me out to deal with health policies in DC. I got to meet a lot of people from like all around the United States. But one thing that I learned about Texas, we're so far behind as it relates to, understanding the capacity of what nurses do. The baby boomers are retired, so there's a major gap in nursing. If this doesn't scare you, it will. Reason why that emergency room line is long is because there's not enough nurses in primary care, not enough nurses in specialty. Why? Because the baby boomers retired right around the COVID time. So when you have those issues, you have gaps. So that also opens up the job market for nursing as well too. So if you feel the need to become a nurse now, I would highly encourage you to do that, because there's vacancies that are there. You can get an Indeed yourself, and they will show you all the vacancies. So,
and I think it's a twofold kind of problem that we have. Not only do we have, there's always going to be more demand than there is supply. There has been nursing shortages since the beginning of time. I think what we also need to do to, walk and chew gum is we have to address the reason why we don't retain nurses over time. And so part of the work that we do is address the fact that we have nurses leave the profession within those first couple of years. You invest 2 to 4 years in nursing school or in school just to leave in 1 or 2 years. And that is catastrophic. That is tragic of our profession. So, I'm not shy about these issues. I like to talk about them. I like for us we got to do something about it. So part of the work that we've done here locally is the Texas Center for Nursing Workforce Studies released a report, and, it has all these statistics and all these things about early career nurses and how they feel and those are quantified by people who are first 5 years in their profession, in the nursing profession, and how they feel and what can we do to address some of these issues. And I think part of what makes District 7 special is that we believe in early leadership. Nurses, new nurses, and nursing students even. I'm so passionate about our nursing students. I mean, they are so keen in their insight, because they're not walking in with jaded eyes. They are seeing the practice setting for what it truly is, not what's in the text. They see the difference between a textbook world and the real world. And so they are uniquely positioned to offer insight and solutions. And they're innovative, and they want to give that innovation. They want to share their thoughts about it. So what we've done is really reach out into the nursing community, into our nursing schools, and say, come and be with us. Come and talk to us. Come and share with us what's on your mind, your soul, so we can heal each other as a profession, but also, again, continue to evolve and innovate the profession to close these gaps in practices. And hopefully that will help close some of these, shortages that we have, because we're keeping them because they know they have value to us. But with the existing hierarchy that we have, it's hard sometimes. Even a nurse, I feel myself being seasoned or veteran, But even I, in the past, couple of years being in a profession, would say, wow, I really don't have any value. I really don't have any meaning. And why am I doing this? And so to continuously think to ourselves, we're doing this, and we have to lay down the foundation for future generations to be able to do this and to heal. So that's been our work here. I'm really proud of it, as you could probably tell.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you said this, because this has been my battle in nursing for the last few years. When I went through my doctorate program at University Incarnate Word in San Antonio, one of our graduate speakers came in, and he talked about the importance of defining what leadership is, and it forever changed how I seen leadership. And he even mentioned nursing has it all wrong. You should never use the word manager after nursing. It should always be leader. You manage things. You don't manage people.
Yep.
You lead people. So this is the reason why nursing is broken, because of the word manager behind it. Managers manage resources. Nurses are not resources. Nurses are practitioners, healthcare providers that have a practice, and they need leadership in order to grow. And when you have leadership, people know to listen when their nurses or their practitioners are tired because of a heavy load, not putting them back out there like an EKG machine. Even the EKG machine gets rest when it breaks down.
Absolutely. Oh, yes. Yes. I think right now we're finally recognizing that nurse managers have the hardest job in the entire organizational structure. They have the pressure from higher up, and then that pressure from lower down. It's kind of pulling on them. And I don't like the word manager either. I tell people all the time, I'm a nurse leader. I'm not a manager. Manager, like you said, it's resources and problems. And sometimes problems have to be permanently managed. And so that's not a avenue that I wish to be in. I love the fact that, I can call myself a nurse leader. And with leadership, there's an art to it. It's a science, but there's an art to it. And it's constantly being crafted. And I see emerging leaders. They might not even see it in themselves yet, but they have all the ingredients that they need to be the voice and the guidance of the nursing profession right now. And I'm just I believe the true measure of a leader is how many leaders you create.
Yes.
That is the true measure.
Yes.
And I think I think that was Gandhi. I'm not going to claim to have been there, but I think that was Gandhi.
The great Miles Monroe, may he rest in peace. He always said that people are attracted to people's gifts and talents. That's what makes them a leader. Because once they're attracted to gifts and talents, you are able to see their gifts and talents and teach them, or show them how to access those gifts or talents. But also on top of leadership, which makes leadership wonderful, leadership is an extension of you with your absence. So that's the cool thing about leadership. You see that constantly in the military. Military has their pecking order of what the orders are, and your leadership extends outside the absence of the president of the United States or the general or the colonel or whoever's there that's casting down those orders. But now in nursing, there is that gap where people have this very, orthodox dance that they have, where they don't necessarily understand what it is to be a leader, because leadership is not taught at a management level.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. What I'm seeing is that, we're so siloed by specialties, by practice setting. And as a future nurse educator, what I see is that these are gaps we can close in curriculum. Yes. These are gaps we should close earlier on to help nurses and future potential nurses really understand your role is first an advocate. You're an advocate for all of humanity, for everyone. And so when you step into your practice setting, it's not, clicking this and clicking that and task. And you're going to learn all of those things. It takes time. It's muscle memory. I'm sure the first time you place the IV or a catheter, it was, your hands were probably a little shaky. But after you've done it for 100 times and 100 plus more, that stuff becomes second nature. What we have to constantly keep at the forefront of our brain is that the person you're taking care of is a person.
Yes.
And you have to advocate for that person no matter where you come from or they come from, what they look like or what you look like. And so part of that is also seeing themselves as leaders.
Yes. Yeah.
You have to see yourself as not just a bystander, but an upstander and a leader. And this, I believe, can be taught. Sometimes people don't think you can teach advocacy, but you can, and it's a muscle that we have to learn how to stretch, and we have to learn how to work out, and you get better and better over time. So that's part of my leadership philosophy that, I push people to step outside of your comfort zone. This is where you're going to grow. Do things that you haven't done before because you want to grow, because it's going to make you a better nurse. It's going to make you a better advocate. It's going to make you a better leader. So that's been part of the work that we've done. I've been so excited about just seeing so many people emerge as leaders in our community.
You are a phenomenal leader yourself. So, and it's amazing because you started at ground zero, and to be where you are today and opening up doors of opportunity for people. Because your name has traveled, and I see you working with people that I know. Terrence Goodwin,
champion. She's a champion.
Terrence is just
that's a champion. Right, I
got to get Terrence on this show.
Yes, you do.
Terrence is, yes. She a tough woman, man. I love me some Terrence Goodwin. So, but these are the people that you're working with, and they are there with your leadership, and that's really, really big of you being that person. That, I mean, it's the forethought of chartering new destination for us as nursing in this district. So,
I think Dr. Beverly Malone of NLN really said it the best the other morning, because it's Nurses Career Week, and really co-creating is dreaming together is what she said. And so from the beginning, all of this is like, how can we co-create a better future together?
I love that.
So what that looks like is everybody has to come to the table. But I can say that I have been very intentional about reaching out to the far, far reaches of our profession, folks that don't normally speak up or say anything.
Yes.
They need to be at the table too. Their presence matters. Their voice matters. We're not going to get to where we want to go by just having some voices at the table. It has to be all of us. And I truly believe that. And being able to continuously reach out and seeing the positive response back is what gives me hope that we'll get there.
Okay. So let's shift for a second here before I go to commercial. I guess you would be like me. You're a non-traditional student, right?
Yeah, I'll take
that. So a non-traditional student. How was that navigation through that process? Because I know when I went back to school just recently, I wind up not being the oldest person in the class, but as things work their way and people disperse and have to leave, then I wind up being the oldest person in the class. So I was like, man, I am officially the oldest person in the class. How is it to navigate that system of being a non-traditional student, going back to school, learning this additional profession?
Yeah, I think that really how it depends. We see this in different programs. So when you're talking about your traditional 4-year BSN program or bachelor's program for nurses, that is going to be your younger students. These are fresh out of high school, students, versus your LVN and your ADN, associate's degree programs. These are I think it's traditional because we're not non-traditional in that aspect, because traditionally these are your working parents. These are maybe even this is their second career, so this is not their first career. These are people who have lived already and bring mostly experience that enhances the profession, and it's valuable. And I don't think it's always looked at like that. But for me, going back to school after some time, I was very nervous, didn't know what type of student I was going to be, but really took my studies very seriously. Ended up being Phi Theta Kappa president because I was that good, y'all. I was that good.
Okay.
But I really didn't know how I was going to feel, if I was going to be able to handle that. And I'm happy to say that if you're thinking about going to school, don't think about it like Nike. Just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. So if anybody is out there thinking that I don't know if I want to do this, I'm too old to do this, these kids are much younger than me, I'm going to say do it. When I set my course, I just done it. Trust me, nursing is an accident for me. But it's been the best accident that I made. Technically,
tell me about
yeah. I mean, we can come back after this commercial. I tell you all about my accident in nursing. All right, this is a lively art of conversation. We'll be right back.
This is Ebony G, and you're listening to the Lively Art of Conversation.
Hey, and we're back with the lively art of conversation. If you have a show, if you would like to do a interview, if you have a commercial, or if there's some word that you want to get out on the lively art of conversation, reach out to me at livelyartofconversation@gmail.com. And we are back with the lively art of conversation. The question was my accident. That was the question. So it's so funny. So I was in the military. I was stationed at Fort Story, Virginia. So if you ever get a chance to go to Virginia Beach, go see Fort Story. It's about 2 miles long, and you're it's like right on the coastal side, Chesapeake Bay. But I was going to go to Howard University Medical, honestly. So I had bought a condo in Virginia Beach, and I was getting ready to get out, and I went to go visit Howard. And yeah, I fell in love with Howard because I think there's every good looking black woman in the world at Howard when I went there. So I was like, oh God. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to focus on school. So I went to fill out all the paperwork and stuff like that. And it was a little daunting because I didn't have a mentor or anything. So I didn't know. And they started throwing numbers out at me. And I was much younger. I was 24, 25. And I was like, well, maybe this is not what I should do. So I decided to go the EMT route, figure out if I want to even do the medical thing or whatever. So I went the EMT route, and I stayed in there for quite some time, wind up finding myself here in Texas, Fort Hood area. And I was thinking about going to medical school. Texas A&M is where I was going to go, start looking into it. And then I ran into a lady that told me back in 1998 that I need to go talk to Miss Virginia Leak.
Legendary. You got to say the legendary.
The legendary Virginia Leak.
There you go.
I went to Texas, Temple College, and she was there with a big smile on her face. She says, can I help you? And I said, I was told to come over here and talk to Miss Virginia Leak. And this is Virginia Leak. And how may I help you? Well, they want me to talk to you about nursing school. She started pulling out paperwork for me to fill out. I say, no, I just asking questions about nursing school. Baby, we don't ask. You just go ahead and fill that out. I want to go to medical school. No, why would you want to do something like this? Nursing is what you want to do. I'm like, ma'am, no, and she's looking at me like, you don't tell me no. What is your problem? So I literally sat in that office and I filled out that paperwork and I submitted it. And then when it came back, she called me and she says, can you come in? And I said, yes. So I came in for the interview and she says, I got good news and bad news. And I said, well, what's the good news and bad news? She said, well, which one you want first? I said, well, give me the bad news. Well, you didn't get into the registered nursing program. You didn't get into the ADN program. I was like, oh man, but you got into the LVN program. I was like, well, I want to do the ADN. Oh, baby, we don't turn away no blessings. That's what she told me. I was like,
and she was right. And she was right.
I was like, I don't even know you. Like, stop. So that's how I accidentally got into nursing. God bless you, legendary Virginia Leaks, yes. Because you and Teresa Beeman and oh my God,
Pillars.
Yeah, Pillars. Yeah, you guys propelled me forward into this field of nursing and always stayed with me. Miss Abercrombie, Arthur Abercrombie is another one that has stayed on my back throughout the years. So without them, I wouldn't be here. So that's how I accidentally got into this nursing.
I love that. I love that she didn't take no for an answer.
You can't tell that woman no.
Oh no, you cannot. And she is just the symbol of grace.
Yes, she
is the symbol of grace, and I'm just so thankful to know her, yes. And to learn from her. And you mentioned mentors earlier, and to me, I love that. The fact that sometimes in life you have accidental mentors.
Yes.
The accidental tours with the accidental mentor. And And these days, that's how I kind of evaluate relationships in my life. Is this person a mentor? Are they my sponsor? Are they my coach? And all these words mean different things. And so that's been my thing as of late, helping people kind of identify that person in your life. You may already have that person in your life, depending on, are they helping you grow? Are they opening new doors for you? Exactly. Or are they guiding you to those doors you can open for yourself? Are they teaching you things? And so I love that, folks that are thinking about going back to school, you may already have a mentor in your life, but it is important to identify and to seek out mentorship. And you do not need just one mentor. I have multiple mentors, look at you as a mentor. And so for me, I think that that's really important while you're going on that journey, is to find that supportive network, because nursing school nursing and any health allied is unlike any other program, because the amount of time it takes and the amount of time you spend in class, in the material, in your practice setting or in clinical. It's not like going for engineering or these other programs. It's different. And so you really need a network of people, if you can, when you're pursuing that goal and that dream.
Yeah, it's been that way, where Miss Virginia Leak left off at Dr. Teresa Beeman picked up. And UMHB is where I connected with her, and she stayed on me. Like, I remember when I graduated, she said, "So when you going back to school?" I'm like, "I just graduated." Miss Beeman, what are you talking about?
You gotta go back.
So
it don't matter.
And every time I would see her, she would have this big old smile, and she said, "When you going back to school? When you going back to school?" And then finally I got my doctorate, and I said, if she tell me I need to go back to school again, I ain't talking to her no more. But she was one of my biggest cheerleaders, Teresa, Dr. Beeman. So a very beautiful, beautiful soul, and pushing me forward. So our circles are the same.
Oh yeah, I mean, and I honestly, I kind of get astounded sometimes. I've been out here in Texas for 5 years, but I don't know if it's just the intention. I end up feel like I'm so embedded in the community, or it just speaks volumes about the community. Yeah,
it's a community and the people
that they've welcomed. I've been welcomed, and I've been embraced, and I've been uplifted, and that's really been part of my story. In high school, I changed schools halfway through my junior year and went to this new school, and I was just embraced. And I said, well, that's, to me, it made me realize that change is a beautiful thing. It does, that's the beauty of change. And so it's been really nice, and it's been really humbling, and just a great experience for me to have this avenue and network of nurses that fully embrace the vision, and it's a shared vision. So I'm excited. That's why I had to pester you. Have to get you involved in the vision.
You got me involved. I'm down with you. 4 flats in the middle of the road.
All right.
We are down. So now I appreciate you like lighting the fire up under me, because sometimes you have these bad experiences, and one currency. We're on this currency kick. The one piece of currency you can never get back is time. And that's the one thing that I don't have much to waste anymore. So when I had the little debacle with TNA, I decided to step away for a little bit, but now it's time for me to come back, and I know I have a lot to give, if it's knowledge, energy, and I still have a lot to learn as well too, because I learn every day. I learn from you. I learn from tons of different people every day. So I'm with you, sister. I'm with you.
Absolutely. And, at this point, I am very, much so, I wouldn't even use the word critical, but it is important to scrutinize and kind of look at our institutions.
Yes.
Where we are right now in the world, in our government, in, misinformation, disinformation, and all the other words. It is important that we look at these things that we've always considered to be pillars, and scrutinize them and inspect them, and ask questions about them. So, I think naturally there are folks that are within the nursing community that do feel that their nursing professional organization doesn't represent them. Yeah. And so hopefully I'm able to, through the work that we're doing here, change that narrative, help them see that this organization works for you.
Yes.
It works for you. You belong here, that there's value in it. And there's so much data to support. I hate the word burnout. That is my least favorite word, but it happens.
Yeah,
it's
does.
A real thing.
It's
a real thing. I just hate that it's a buzzword because you can have one bad day and someone thinks they burnt out. That's not burnout.
Yes.
One bad day, maybe you're exhausted, you need some rest, you need to self-care, you need to do the things that you know heal you. And that doesn't mean hit the bars with your friends and be hungover next couple days. That's not what it means. Go for a walk, touch grass.
Yes.
That's the Gen Z like to say. Go outside and touch grass.
Yeah, touch grass.
And, drink water.
Yes.
Go to therapy if you
water.
Need to. Go, things like
that.
There you go. Drink water. And so I think that everything, because of social media, gets very amplified.
Yes.
Gets very amplified. And so, that's part of it. And the other part of it is the work that I'm beginning to do is that language is important. And you taught me this.
Yes.
You taught me this year. You taught me this.
Look at me. I'm teaching. I'm teaching.
And this has stuck with me. That's what Dr. Duckett has stuck with me all throughout the years, the intergenerational panel.
Yes.
And we went and defined words for us, and then we did an exercise. So I learned this year how important each word sounds. And there's a difference between bravery and courage. And
Preach.
I'm telling my nurses, a bravery, you see a baby drowning, you're going to jump in, you're going to save the baby even if you can't swim. Courage is knowing, considering the outcome and doing it anyway. Even if you're going to meet the consequences. And what we need is people who are more courageous than cowardly.
Oh, yes.
We need more courage in our profession. We need people who are willing to stand up no matter the outcome of whatever that is. And so that's what I'm hoping we can foster in this community of nurses, that we have courageous nurses that are willing to meet the mark and meet the demands of the times that we're living in right now. And so choosing words wisely, thinking and knowing that, again, everything we do is for the whole community. We're inclusive. And these are things that just, again, we sat down in our strategic planning and really soaked in every single word. But you taught me that this year, how important words are. And even if something sounds similar, there's a reason why there's two different words. They mean two different things.
Exactly. Language is everything. I've been telling people this for quite some time, that language doesn't mean someone speaks English, the other person speaks Spanish. No, language is a understanding of the people that's around you. I'm going to explain to you how language works. If we speak the same language, we can communicate effectively. If we can communicate effectively, that means there's a sense of understanding. If there's a sense of understanding, that means that there is also chemicals that are released from our body called oxytocin, which confirms the fact that we understand what's going on. And now, guess what? We are in alignment with one another, because vibratory wise, we get it. We connect.
Vibing.
Yes, we're vibing.
As the Gen Z say, we vibing.
We vibing. So, but when we disassociate from each other based off of lack of communication, lack of knowledge and understanding, it becomes very, very difficult. That's why if you ever want to see discourse, just watch any type of C-SPAN with politicians. That's discourse all day long.
Healthy.
Yeah. They want the same thing, but they don't know how to have bipartisanship, something that we talked about earlier this month, bipartisanship and what it looks like, because the language is very off, so the communication's ineffective. So, yeah, you got to know these words. You got to know what they mean, Maybe that's my mother being a librarian, and what does that mean, and why does it mean that, and that doesn't mean the same as that. And I used to hate that nagging all the time, but it makes sense when I get older,
yeah. No, undoubtedly. Yeah. It has been, especially, again, I look at misinformation, disinformation, and all those two words.
Yes.
I mean, one is kind of accidental, giving you the wrong, and one is intentional, like malware, giving you the wrong. So, I think that where we are right now as a profession is, it's been COVID fractured some of those things, but long before COVID, some of the structures of nursing professional organizations have been gutted out.
Yes.
They have been gutted out. Now we have to come together and start speaking the same language again. And so part of that is just bringing people together. And my proudest moments is after all our events are done, when people are still lingering, talking to one another. Oh, it fills my heart. It fills my heart, because it's like, this is what a community is.
Yes.
And so when people say, well, how can I get involved? Just show up.
Just show up.
Just show up.
Yes.
You're part of the community by just showing up. And you start to kind of get the language, the lingo, and we're growing. We're speaking together the same language. We can advocate for one another. We can advocate together more effectively when we're speaking the same language and we understand each other.
So I want to do this, just shift gears as we get ready to close it out. She's done a phenomenal job here, everybody, representing TNA well. And she talked about her life. She talked about lessons that she learned. We've heard her accolades, things that she's learned along the way. But let's talk about things that you would like to pass down. Is there any advice that you would like to pass down to maybe a non-traditional student that's sitting there on the fence? Maybe there's some young people that are listening right now, or maybe no one has nothing to do with nursing, don't care about nursing, but just listening. What advice would you give them?
Don't ever let someone make you feel like you don't belong somewhere. And I know, it is the hardest thing you do when you walk an imaginary tightrope between what you think, people expect from you and what the environment's calling for versus who you are. Be true to who you are the entire way. If it's not for you, if it's rejection, it's God's protection. And so stay true to yourself and don't ever let someone make you feel like you don't belong somewhere, period.
Homegirl, I had to put my glasses on to hear you. I literally had to put I don't know why I grabbed my glasses, but I said, Lord, I got to wear my glasses to hear what she's saying. My goodness. As they say in church, can you say it one more time for the people in the back?
I'm telling you, because in your mind, when someone makes you feel like you don't belong, you start to, there's a little game your mind starts, and you can't challenge those disempowering narratives that are in your mind, because if the environment's making you feel like you don't belong, and all those false narratives you're telling yourself, you start to believe them, and it starts to break you down you don't have to worry about them breaking you down. You're breaking yourself down. So really, I feel like it stems of like that I don't belong here type feeling. Challenge those inner narratives and challenge that lie. Step off the ledge. Is the things you're telling yourself in your mind even remotely true? Who planted those seeds there? And don't let those seeds of doubt flourish there. And so I had to do a lot of unlearning and relearning to understand that you have to challenge those disempowering narratives inside of you first. And then you can stand up and be like, I'm not listening to you. I'm not listening. I belong here. My voice belongs here. I take up this much space. You don't like it. That's fine. And be yourself. And that's it.
You heard it right here on the Lively Art of Conversation, where we live, we learn, we earn, we pass it along. That storm that's brewing inside of you, calm that storm. Once you calm that storm inside of you, the outside world won't matter anymore. You heard it from Ebony G. Miss Ebony G, if anybody want to get involved in TNA, if anybody want to connect with you about anything they have going on in the community where you can be a benefit, how do they reach out to you?
You can always send us an email. So that's District 7, and 7 like the number 7. So district@texasnurses.org. Or you can always hit us up on our website, which is tna7.nursingnetwork.com. And Lord knows my cell phone's all over the internet. So if you find that, give me a text or a shout to you. I welcome it.
Oh, my goodness. And I would say, guys, if you're nurses that are out there, please get involved. It's very important for you to get involved. I've been involved for years. I'm reestablished back again. Please get involved. You have something to give. We need you right now. Nurses have a voice, and we need to stop having politicians speak for us that doesn't understand what we do. We miss out on a lot of money. We miss out on a lot of opportunity. We don't get good educators because education doesn't get paid well, but we do the blunt of the work in the hospital. We are a practice, and we have to be like Texas Medical Association. We have to stand up for our practice and show that we are valuable because we are available. So that's what we need to do as nurses. So anything, closing remarks before we get out of here?
No, I think you pretty much summed it up. Like, we've got to show up in the numbers. We are the largest workforce in the United States.
Wow.
We're the large, and we vote
Wow.
at lower rates than the general population. And that is really shocking, and it's really hurting our communities. We are the example in our communities. We are the healers of our communities, and we have to show up like that every single day. That's what makes our work special. So just challenging all my folks that are my nursing community to show up. We've got so much at stake every single day. Just show up, and that's where the work begins.
You heard it, Miss Ebony G. And this is Dr. Rodney Duckett with the Lively Art of Conversation, where we live, we learn, we earn, and we pass along. Thank you, guys, and we'll see you next week.